work at all. That didn't work at all. But I remember I never told you about the story of Jerry the Squirrel. So Jerry the Squirrel, he's a very very nice squirrel. Like he goes around, he greets all the people who like give him acorns or whatever he wants and crap. So he's overall a very very nice squirrel. But then one day, this one weird crackhead, he was like, "This is a crazy cool squirrel. He's like trying to bite my ankles or something, right?" So he tries to kidnap Jerry, but Jerry's like, "No." So Jerry bites his hand, but when Jerry bites his hand, he suddenly the crackhead suddenly gets really angry because he got bit. But the thing is, the crackhead was a former animal catcher, so he knows how to catch things. So Jerry the squirrel crawls up his pant leg and then bites him right square in the dick. But so the animal catcher's like the whole crackhead animal catcher is going absolute nuts, pun intended, and then he tries to do like a shimmy, right? He's trying to get the squirrel out of his pants, and then Jerry just gets out of his pants by his own, but then crawls up and bites him in the ear. And now he's being attacked and harassed by a squirrel. But the surrounding people are watching, and they all know Jerry the Squirrel. They're friends with Jerry the Squirrel. So what they decide to do is film everything. So they're recording the whole fight with Jerry the Squirrel. And then while it's going live, somebody knows where they're at, so they call 911 and be like, "Bro, this guy's fighting Jerry the Squirrel." And he's over at this spot. So the police show up like right after Jerry bites him in the nuts again, and then they're like, bro, stop! You can't fight Jerry the Squirrel. He's an icon over here. And the crackhead's like, "I'm only trying to keep him as a pet. It's one darn cool squirrel." He was like, the cop's like, "You're not from around here, are you? You can't steal that squirrel or keep him. He's his own free inhabitant. He's his own sovereign citizen," right? So, the squirrel is just, he's over here listening to the cop being awesome, and then, he's just kind of like, crawls down his leg and then like goes on the ground and just kind of sits there like a dog. But the cops is like, you need to get out of here. But the hobo's like, "No, I ain't getting out of here without the squirrel." So then he pulls out a gun and tries to shoot the cop. But the cop is like a fucking wizard, and then he like shoots an icicle and it goes straight into the hobo's eye, but it doesn't kill him. It just like makes him blind in one eye, like Demo Man from TF2. So, you know what? That gives me an idea. So the hobo has a bomb. So he was like, "Fine, if I can have Jerry the Squirrel, no one will." So the cop was like, hit the ground, right? But then the hobo explodes, getting like his brain matter all over like some child's tablet screen because he or she was filming it. And then the child screams like that one video on the bus that's animated, right? So then like shortly after the cop gets off down up from the ground, but he's fine, and everyone around him are like fine, right? But the Jerry the Squirrel is kind of he's a little bit charred. He's like got turned into a barbecue skewer, but like not literally, figuratively. And then he kind of looks like he got electrocuted in the cartoons, you know. So the cop comes over to Jerry. He's like, "You'll be fine, Jerry. This the president's on his way." So the president gets there and like the president like performs like arch wizardy magic, and then like beams of light shoot down from the sky and like angels start singing from the heavens, and like it's like all of a sudden like there's a lightning bolt and it catches a tree on fire. And then Jerry the Squirrel, in the brink of death, lives from the magical wizard known as the President. So, then Jerry the Squirrel, he when he wakes up from that little encounter from the bomb man, he's like, "Thank you, man," right? It's just like in his own squirrel way, he's like, "Thank you." So then the president hands Jerry the Squirrel like a big ass bag of nuts. Like we're talking so big, Santa is like he's depressed because like his sack ain't that big. So like the president, like he has to call in like 13 different Chinook helicopters because it's that big, right? And then it makes it start like bloody raining like acorns. It is breaking windows, it is smashing cars, it is making your house look like a cucumber. I don't even know what a cucumber has to apply, but it applies. So Jerry over here is like, I have enough food for the rest of my life. Then the president is like, no, this will last you about a week. So Jerry's like, yeah, you're probably right. And then what Jerry does is he turns into like Kirby and like just eats like all the like nuts like a bloody vacuum cleaner. But like he only eats like 1/4, like 1/4 of the quarter of the nuts. So but when Jerry does that, he turned into like a big ass balloon. He's like the size of a truck now. So the president was like, here, let me help you with that. So he grabs a needle out of his pocket and then just jabs Jerry, right? Then Jerry like barfs all the acorns and like mock chicken. It's just right into a house. And, well, not a house, like a skyscraper. And then that skyscraper falls over and hits another skyscraper. That skyscraper falls over and hit another skyscraper. And that 4 more times, like dominoes. And then, the president is like, that was you, not me. You're the one that was aiming your face that way, so I take no responsibility. Plus, I'm the president. You can't tell me what to do. And then everyone else is like, what's going on here? This is from a squirrel. This all happened because of a squirrel. And then the president gets like teleported out of there because he's like, again, like a wizard. So Jerry it's over here is like, man, I wanted to eat that, now it's all barfed on and like now has rubble in it. So what the people around, they take him to like a national park that was like 800,000 miles away. That's like, actually over like on the moon. So it's like when he gets there, there's like plenty of nuts on the ground. It's like a perfect vacation getaway house, and he's gonna live there for the rest of their life. But everyone's really sad because they're like, Jerry the Squirrel's no longer in their town. They have to go so far away to get him. So they're basically saying their goodbyes to Jerry the Squirrel, and Jerry the Squirrel's sad too. He's saying bye to his best friends, the people who feed him like Rice Krispie treats like every afternoon. So after they say their goodbyes and everyone has an emotional moment, then what happens is God reaches his hand down and is like, no, this is forbidden. You come to heaven because this is a minuscule. This is minuscule treatment. Come become the protector of this realm, man. I don't know how I was gonna say that, but yeah, you become like the angel. The angel, Jimmy the Squirrel, that sequel dequel. The angel magician squirrel. That's its full title name. So when Jerry the Squirrel, he's like, bro, I'm gonna get a seat like in heaven, and it's like, but I'm not dead. And then God's like, you don't have to be. You can just be. You can come down to the earth whenever you want to see your friends. You're like a fucking angel now. So Jared the Squirrel's like, yeah, this is bloody awesome, mate. So then, when Jared the Squirrel gets up to heaven, he has a couple brewskis with God, and then they talk about like their love life and like what they like and crap, right? So. Then after they have a little too much to drink, too much apple cider, if you catch my drift. But so after that, like Jimmy the Squirrel and God, they're having like a weird ass conversation. Like they're talking about like why cows eat grass and not like leaves, you know, like giraffes, you know. They're like the same thing but slightly different, right? So after that weird ass conversation, the Jimmy the Squirrel has a great idea, right? So they're gonna head over to the local like Heaven Walmart, and they're gonna buy some tacos from the frozen aisle, because you have to have some tacos if you're drunk, right? I mean, I had some too much apple cider, cider, right? So cider, yeah, too much apple cider. So. Soon after they get their tacos, that were like the best tacos in heaven. Well, all food in heaven is like amazing. It's better than anything you can buy it at the earthling realm. So when Jerry's like, bro, these tacos are like better than nuts. Why haven't I been eating these all along? God's like, bro, you haven't seen nothing. Just wait until I call up my chef, right? And Jerry was like, wait a minute, if you had a chef, then why did we go to the store? He was like, I forgot about that, right? So, then, God's like, he's like, well, what I could have done was, yes, call up the chef, but, you know, we could, alright. What we could have, okay, that sentence totally failed. Like, God's like, yeah, we could have gone to the store, but why not go to the store? It's the main question. So Jerry the Squirrel was like, why not go to the store? I have no answer, because the store, it's like where like the dreams are made, right? It's like where the angels are born, but like if angels were frozen burritos and tacos. And then so basically what happens after that conversation of like weirdness, because everything's weird when Jerry the Squirrel's around, you know? Nothing's normal with Jerry the Squirrel. So after that little conversation, what they decided to do was take a ride down the neighborhood in their pink Cadillac, and pop some wheelies with their pink Cadillac, and just blare some like anime opening music, because why the hell not? And everyone's over there being like, hey, what's up, God? I see you got Jared the Squirrel with you. And everyone's waving to him. It's like a fucking parade. It's like a parade, but like without the floaties, you know? So, like during the parade, people are like chucking candy at Jerry the Squirrel. And Jerry the Squirrel's like, why are they throwing rocks? But the God's like, that ain't rocks, that's candy. Jerry the Squirrel was like, what the hell's candy? And then God's like, bro, you never had candy before? Try it. Then God unwraps a piece of candy and hands it to Jerry the Squirrel. Jerry the Squirrel then takes a little nibble of it. He's like, damn, this is awesome. What's this called? Jerry the Squirrel's like, that's called a Twizzler. So Jerry the Squirrel's like, this is really nice, right? And then what Jerry the Squirrel does is he just a 360 no scope and like shoots up the candy store, because he doesn't want to pay for no candy, so he robs everything, which is about like $3,898.39 of candy. So basically they steal all the candy and then they go into a blimp and then like make it, they chuck candy out the window and then like, here kiddies, have some candy. And then then they do all GTL style and then crash the blimp into a really white building and then jump out the blimp the last second. And then they talk to some random guy that's like, bro, why don't we go steal more candy and then feed it to homeless people until they turn into a sparkling rainbow of vinegar? What? So Jerry the Squirrel and then God is like, yeah, that's a great idea. So they get back in their pink Cadillac and then they go up, they go hit up like every candy store in like all of heaven. And then so then once they got like an equivalent amount of candy as there was nuts that the president gave them, they went around in Santa's sled because, you know, Santa's in heaven, because why not, you know? So then they were like, it's early Christmas, and then they're chucking the candy out their sled window. I don't know what the sled has for a window, but so they're chucking candy out the side of the cart thing, and then everyone underneath it's like it's raining candy. It's like this is the best day in history. We're gonna call this the holiday. And so then after that, the candy, like sweet tooth massacre of candy stores, God and Jerry the Squirrel had enough of candy for the day. So they head back to their torch palace, and they have a nap, right? They go to sleep, and then they don't sleep in the same bed, of course, because that would be gay. But so while they're sleeping, Jerry the Squirrel, he had a dream. He had a dream that he was the god. So, and the god was Jerry. So the roles just switched, like their brains got swapped, right? So then when he woke up, Jerry the Squirrel told God about his dream. And it was like, wait, so you're just talking about swapping brains? I can do that right now. Right? So Jerry the Squirrel's like, wait, you can do that? And God's like, yeah, here, I'll do it right now. So then Jerry the Squirrel's like, sure, that sounds awesome. I never had a human body before, you know? And then, like, God's like, I never had a squirrel body before, you know? So once they swapped brains, Jerry and God, you know, they had some trouble getting used to their new form. But then once they did, they went around like going around like crazy, like the random maids and like, you know, the servants and crap that's over there, and you'd be like, and they're like, hey yo, you know, what's up? I'm God. I don't mind how I have like Jerry's voice and all. Trust me, I'm God, you know. And then they just went around trolling everyone, you know. But then God had the idea, you know, to swap back to the normal bodies. But what he decided to do was go to the mall. And in the mall, they wanted to shop for some clothes. Those clothes being a full-out tactical like looking clothes. So they look like they're in the army, because the mall totally has this, you know, body armor. Because malls have everything, you know. So what they decide to do is form their own military. So they call it military. Military D's nuts. So it's a D's nuts militia. It's technically a militia, isn't it? Yeah, whatever. So they're going around. I'm just gonna call it a military because it's simpler. And they're asking people like, hey, come join our military, because, you know, we got squirrels and acorns. And everyone's like, what, just squirrels and acorns? Why don't something more interesting? And then Jerry's a squirrel like, well, yeah, we also got thermonuclear warheads. Because why not? And then the person's like, okay, now I'm interested. But are you talking in like just like the small type or the big type? Like, are you talking about like the stuff that was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Or are you talking about Zarbama? Jared the Squirrel's like, says like, I'm talking about Zarbama. And so the person's like, right, like, okay, now we're talking. So so basically, Jared the Squirrel and that guy, they're, man, I don't want like to pause my stories. No one likes pausing those stories. I'm gonna punch you right square in your face. I'm gonna, you know what? You probably look in the mirror shatters, and then I'm gonna throw that shattered glass right square in your dick, and then your dick is gonna be screaming for help. What did you want to say? Fine, continue my story now. So the person's like, now we're talking about some big booms, right? So what they're Jerry the Squirrel's like, yeah, we're talking about like we're packing some heat. We're like we got like a big ass explosion in our pocket, if you catch my drift. So the person's like, why don't we go nuke Russia? Because no one likes Russia. And Jerry the Squirrel's like, yeah, sure. Why not we go nuke Russia? And then the guy's like, that may cause some problems. And Jerry the Squirrel's like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? No one likes Russia. And the guy's like, you know what? You're right. Let's go nuke Russia. Then Jerry the Squirrel, God, and that random guy, they get nuclear launch codes from the president. And then they go nuke Russia. Russia's like, why did you nuke us? And Jerry the Squirrel's like, I don't know, got bored. So, and Russia's like, man, fair enough, have a nice day. So, after that little fiasco, basically what happens is, everyone from Russia is dead. Dead is dead. So, I'm kind of in a story here. I'm telling a story. Oh, come on, it's 20 minutes. 22 minutes. So, basically, after they nuke Russia, right? What goes on is, what goes on is, they have a little conversation, right? They're trying to plan for, the future. So they're driving around in their pink Cadillac, going around, popping more wheelies like the usual. And they're talking about what they're going to do next. And neither of them have any ideas. So what they decided to do is go to the nearest homeless shelter. And they asked the homeless people of some like things they, like fun things they did before they were homeless. And then a couple of homeless people had some good ideas. The one idea was they go to a zoo and then they ride some giraffes and then they go, no, not giraffes. they, yeah. uh, so they so while they were in jail, he got he got killed. So um s- so the idea, because I don't want to, well, I technically can't die because I'm immortal, but I don't want Jerry the Squirrel to get killed. um so Jerry the Squirrel's like, hey, I'm sure it's fine. So it's like, I mean, we could go over to the zoo and ride like a rhinoceros and then go charging with a sword and be like, onward, march, free thy people. And the guy was like, that's a good idea, but I think we have I think we can do something better. And another homeless guy comes up and he's like, you know what? What you can do is head over to a farm. Ask the farmer for a couple horses, and then what you can do is to do some jousting. I did that, but the jousting pole was straight into my eye and killed me. It hit my brain. So the guy and God and Jared the Squirrel, they were like, that could be a good idea, yeah. But again, I don't want to hurt Jared the Squirrel. So another homeless guy comes up, and he says, "Why don't you throw a rave party? You know, you can bring the whole town over. You know, just say like, what's up? It's a little reunion with your old friends." God and Jerry the Squirrel's like, you know what? That's a great idea. I think we're gonna do that. So when they head over back, they head over back to the Earth. They head over back to Earth, and what they do is bring the whole town over. They throw a bloody rave party. They get the cops called us for noise complaints for like 13 weeks. For like 13 weeks, they were throwing a rave party, day in and day out. They didn't sleep for like 5 days. Like in the start, like when they first started, they didn't sleep for 5 days, and then slowly people started leaving because they didn't want to stay there no longer. But, so then after everybody was pretty much gone, they stopped the rave party and called it a couple months. So right after that rave party, Jerry the Squirrel and God said, you know what? I think I have an idea. So Jerry the Squirrel and God sit down and have a conversation. Their conversation was like, I think we should I think we should end it here. You know, we had a good run, but I can't have you in heaven any longer. You know. So Jerry the Squirrel's like, wait, what you talking about? It was like, God saying like, I was only planning to have you up in heaven for like a vacation week. I wasn't planning to have you, stay with me for like 4 months. So Jerry the Squirrel's like, I mean, it makes sense, but can I at least have a phone number? I still haven't got it. So God's like, well, sure, here's my phone number. You can just ring me up anytime, but you're not welcome back into heaven until I say. Jerry the Squirrel's reluctantly agreeing, but he still agrees. So then, after that little conversation, they say goodbye. Jerry the Squirrel, he heads back to the hometown where everyone's where he first was. He sees the carnage he's caused there. Well, the president technically caused because he poked him with a needle, but then once they say their goodbyes, it's pretty much it. So Jerry the Squirrel is pretty sad. After he stopped talking to his friend God, but they're technically still friends. I'm talking for my stream that has 0 viewers. So basically, what Jerry the Squirrel does is he brings up a couple people. He brings up a couple of friends he met at the rave party. He talks to them for a little bit, but then it's not the same, God's a cool dude. There's nothing like God. So there's the Squirrel. He only talks for them a little bit, about like 30 minutes. He talks to him, but then he leaves. So Jerry the Squirrel is left wondering. It's like, what am I gonna do next? I need to hang out with another cool guy. So it leaves Jerry the Squirrel wondering for quite some time. 3 minutes exact. So with Jerry the Squirrel, after 3 minutes, he has a great grand idea. He's gonna become the president. So Jerry the Squirrel, he he decides to run for presidency. and he wins by a landslide. 99.99% of every single person in the United States voted for him. The other 0.01% people voted for the raccoon. No one likes raccoons. They're trash pandas. Everyone likes squirrels. They're nice and fluffy and cute until they bite your dick. But, you know, that's squirrels for you. So Jerry the Squirrel, he's having a great time as president. So, his first order as president, nuke Russia again. Why not do it for a second, third time? You know, you don't need to keep count. Just keep nuking them. Doesn't matter. No one likes Russia. Yeah. So Jerry the Squirrel, as his orders president, after he nukes Russia, Russia's like, what is this? What is it for this time? We didn't do anything again. Jerry the Squirrel, I got bored. So, Russia's like, again I see. Very well, have a nice day. So, Jerry the Squirrel, he's like, not bad. I always like a good fireball. So then, what he noticed when the nukes were exploding over Russia, one of the mushroom clouds, they kind of looked like an acorn. So then he got hungry. So he decided to just go over by the nearest Costco and eat a piece of furniture because like you normally do as a person, because they can't hear you, Hob, so I have to repeat what you're saying. So what Jerry the Squirrel does, once he's finished eating his sofa, right? I'm saying it for when people do watch it because it's being recorded. So then, once he's done eating the sofa, right? Damn it! He's no longer hungry once he's done eating his sofa. So then he gets really tired, and then after his midnight snack, right? And he goes to bed. He decides to sleep, and I think that's where I'm gonna end this story, because my friends are telling me to not play, and I'm starting to run out of ideas. So when he goes to sleep, he on a full stomach, and I'm running out of ideas. So Jerry the Sleep goes to sleep, right? He dreams about beautiful squirrel women, and like a nice Sunday night with the sun setting on like a nice a beach that's all by himself with squirrel women. And then that's where the story ends. The very amazing story of Jerry the Squirrel. To be continued, for there's plenty more stories, or plenty more of a story for Jerry the Squirrel. Jerry the Squirrel has quite the future ahead of him, and so does everyone else who hears the story of Jerry the Squirrel. Because Jerry the Squirrel is the best squirrel in all of the world.